Well, hello there. This is Preacher Man Piper, Dog Hatfield, coming to you again. Thought I'd tell you another story about my life. I want to tell you about the cop car. In the town I grew up in, Denison, Texas, it had a long main street, but it also had a street called Morgan Street, and they come together. They intersected in a curve like this. You come all the way through town on Main Street, and you come down to this curve, and you go on out, and you go all the way out to the outside of town, and then you'd make a turnaround, you come back in, and you go back around, and you just do that over and over. Every Friday night and Saturday night, there was just hordes of people walking around and hordes of people riding around, honking horns, convertibles, guys sitting up on the seats and the girls sitting up on the seats just a hollering and just a moving through there about as fast as they can. Well, this the way that this came around right here on this curve, you could go straight on Main Street, but on the right side you went forward, and on the left side you come back, and so there was a big median in there that had all grass, and there was a big oak tree. And a cop car would back up on that median and be right there close to that oak tree. Well, they were doing their best to catch some of us out there and give us tickets for driving too fast or making too much noise. That's just a pain in the rear end, I'm telling you. And so a couple of my friends and I, we got together and we got us a big chain. I mean a big chain. And we snuck in behind there one night. I mean, the horns was a honking. They couldn't have hurt us. And we crawled up under that cop car. And we tied that chain around the rear end of that cop car and tied that to that oak tree. Now, there was between 75 and 100 feet of chain. And so we had a boy on purpose. We told him, we want you to come down through there just to getting it just as fast as you can and just barely make it around that curve and keep on going. He said, then they'll come after you. But he was coming from Morgan Street up and going down Main Street. That meant that cop car to go straight. And so as soon as that car come down there and come around like that, that cop car took off like all get out, and I mean to tell you, the back end of that thing, it pulled that rear end out from under that car, slick as a button. Back into that car went woo like this, and it just went bounce, 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 bounced 300 or 400 feet down the road. Of course, we wasn't there. and of course everybody was just a hooting and a hollering and a laughing, seeing that happen. And boy, them cops got out of that car. They was just fit to be tied. They were madder than a hoot. They was hollering, "Who done that? Who done that? Who done that? Who done that?" And of course nobody would tell them who done it. And so after all the hoopla and everything settled back down, and they called a record, come got that cop car. They brought another cop car, come up there and pulled backed up just like that one, except this time they had a cop standing behind the car, guarding the back of that car. And so the next morning, there was a knock on the door. My dad went to the door, and after a few minutes, my dad called me. And I went in there, and he said, "Son," he said, "this officer's got a question he wants to ask you." I said, "Well, go right ahead." He said, "Where'd you get the chain that you put on that cop car last night?" I said, "I didn't get no chain." I said, "I was standing over on the sidewalk." I said, "You saw me. I stand over on the sidewalk watching y'all. Like we always stand there and watch." "Well, I heard it was you." And I said, "No, no, no, no. I didn't get no chain because I didn't. One of the other guys got the chain. I just helped hook it up." And so he said, "So you didn't get no chain to put on that car?" I said, "No, sir. I did not go get no chain to put on your car. I would not have done that. I would not have done that." And he said, so you wouldn't pull a prank like that?" He said, "Very serious prank." And I said, "No, sir. No, sir. I did not go get no chain to put on your car. I did not do it." I said, "Now, whoever told you I did, they're fibbing to you. Now you need to go talk to them. They probably the ones that done it because they're trying to put it off on me." I said, "So I'd never do that." I said, "My brother's a deputy sheriff. You think I'd do something like that to one of his own?" I said, "No, I'd never do that. I'd never do it. No, no." And so he said, "Well, okay." He said, "I'm going to take you at your word." I said, "Well, I appreciate it because I ain't lying." He left him. After a little while, my dad said, let's run down to the church and see about the buses." I said, "Okay." So we went down to the church. What we did, we went down there and checked their gas gauges, and if any of them needed gas, we took it up and had it filled with gas. And we did that every Saturday. And so we was going up there, and he said, "Now, son, I'm going to ask you a question." I said, "Yes, sir." "Did you get that chain?" I said, "No, sir, I did not. I did not get that chain." I said, "I did not get that chain." He said, "Well, then let me ask you this." I said, "Well, now, if I didn't get it, what else would you want to know? Did you help put that chain on that car?" I said, I said, "Can I plead the fifth?" And he said, he grinned and he said, "You did, didn't you?" I said, "Well, they didn't know how to fix it so it would be even on both sides." I said, "So I assisted them." I said, "But I didn't get the chain." I said, "Another guy got the chain." He said, "Well, you don't be telling this at church now." He said, "I don't want nobody knowing it." I said, "There ain't nobody knows it." I said, "Them two boys know it," but I said, "They're not going to tell nobody." He said, "Well, I guess they wouldn't." I said, "No, don't worry about it." Don't worry about it in the least little bit. And so he said, well, all right. He said, I'm gonna take you at your word. I said, all right, all right. So see, sometimes what happens is that preachers' kids get with deacons' kids, and the deacons' kids teach them to do wrong things. And so that's probably about the end of that story. I did want to tell you though that I'm going to put a link in the bucket below, that I did a video to help people with this uh, coronavirus thing here. And if you want to watch it, and if it helps you, that's wonderful. I hope it does. But anyway, it'll be down in the bottom, and you can go see that if you want to. And I wanted to do a couple of shout outs. One is for Briar Fire. You need to go check his videos out. He don't have much, and he don't have very many people subbing him, but you need to go look at him, and then give him a sub and help him out. Then there's A.A. Pipe Man. Go look at his videos and check him out too, and give him a sub. And then there's Fireman Piper. Go see all of those, three of those, and give him a sub. You can tell him I subbed him. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not ashamed to do it at all. I want to help everybody on here just like y'all help me. I'm telling you. It's just been such a blessing. As wonderful as you people have been to me. So until I see you next time with another story, maybe not as devious, I pray the good Lord will shower His grace upon you and supply your every need and take care of every circumstance. So until then, I bid you adieu. Always wanted to say that. Bye-bye.